All right, everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house, another edition. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Back at the house today. The show's going to be a bit of a hybrid between like studio and the my kitchen here for a while. It was nice to get back in studio the other day, but we're not going to do it as consistently. But be a hybrid, just like everything is these days, right? A hybrid. Going to get to my guest right now. He's ready to go. Let's bring him in. I'm excited about this. Randy Springis joins us. Hello, Randy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fantastic. In one of the best backdrops we've had here. I love this little what a basement feel with guitars. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I tried to set it up for you. Although,
it looks great. All right, so we found you. You're now, are you from Newburyport?
Well, it's a long story, I guess. Originally, I'm from Minnesota.
Okay.
I met my wife in California, and after we got married, we moved back. She's from Melrose originally, but I did live in Newburyport for a short period of time, and then I had children, and I needed a backyard. So we moved to Amesbury, and I found a house in Amesbury we could raise our kids in.
Is that where you are right now?
That's where I'm at right now, yes, Amesbury still.
All right, lovely Amesbury, very nice. You are a guitar maker, and you love it.
Yeah, it gives me the opportunity to let my creativity come out, yes.
Do you play as well?
I do play, although I'm a better builder than I am a player, without a doubt. But I do like to play, yes.
Same here, but not a builder part. But I can understand.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I always say you'll never be bored when you can play a little bit. It's just fun to hammer around with, right?
Well, it's a language, so there's always something to be said. There's always new things to say, So it's an awesome experience.
What you have a very, I as much as I play, I don't really know that much about the intricacies of making a guitar. And you are said to have a very kind of unique style. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I came from it. I'm a furniture maker by trade to begin with. So I went to the North Bennett Street School. Well, actually, growing up, I was always around furniture. My mother was an upholsterer. So I was always around furniture, and I always had I always loved the mahogany. I mean, how can you not like mahogany? Mm. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to the North Bennett Street School, where I went to the furniture and cabinet making program. So I've been a cabinet maker now for, 25 some years. But always in the back of my mind, I always wanted to make a guitar. And then it got to the point where I had the time, I had the tools, I had the skills, and eventually it just all came together. And people, have gravitated towards my guitars.
So what are the general themes? Because I'm trying to figure out what makes a furniture maker a good guitar maker.
Well, I'm not so sure that just because you're a furniture maker, you could be a guitar maker, and vice versa. I think there is that aspect of having played and knowing what an instrument should give you really is the what brought it together. But, I approach it as if it is a piece of furniture, in that, you have to have joinery, and there's some joinery is better than other depending upon what you're trying to do. And then there's the putting the hardware on the furniture, which is for the guitar, obviously, is the pickups, the tuners, and then the making of the neck in itself.
What? When did you know that you could be good at it? Was it like, did you get like a good first one? Do you remember building your first one?
I do remember. Coming from North Bennett, I knew how to use hand tools. I knew the neck really is what a guitar is all about. And that's one thing that I think that I can do, and I've had people tell me I can do it, is make a neck, because that's what you're intimate with. That's really where all the action takes place, is on the neck. And, I've made, quite a few, cabriolets, which is the same technique in making a neck as what you'd use on a cabriolet. You're taking a round or a square and making it round. So, on that first neck, I think right off the bat, I knew that I was onto something.
So is this where the magic happens, right here in the basement? Is that where your shop, your building, or?
Yeah, I have a facility where I do most of the heavy woodworking. but right here is where I do all the fine assembly and all of the, the neck work really here.
Okay. And tell a little bit, people can just get your guitars? Do you have to get in touch with you way in advance? How does this work?
Well, I have 3 different stores that are actually selling them right now. And then I have a website where people can commission me to make a guitar for them.
You can say the website.
Say that again?
You can say the website. That's fine. Go for it.
It's, Karge Guitars, www.kargeguitar.com. Or, there's 3 music stores. Manchester Music in Manchester, New Hampshire is selling my guitars. And then there's Boston Vintage out in West Bridgewater in Massachusetts. And then there is a guy out on the West Coast, Mahar's Vintage Guitars, that sells my guitars. You can buy guitars through all 3 of those dealers as well as the website.
And the Karge is Karge, just so people know. Karge.
Correct. Karge, yep.
Do you, most people that start playing guitar have somebody that inspired them along the way? Maybe it was an album they picked up. Maybe it was the first time they saw, I don't know, it could be anything. Do you remember your moment?
Well, yeah. It was that Electric Ladyland, Hendrix. Everybody comes home to Hendrix, really. But I can distinctly remember, 8th grade, getting out of school and going straight home and putting on Electric Ladyland.
Wow. That's
that 1983, a merman I should turn to be is just, it's hypnotic and it's psychedelic. I mean, it's got everything you would want out of guitar work.
By far, still your favorite is Hendrix?
Oh, yeah. Both my kids know that Electric Ladyland's the essential listening. So they have it loaded up on their phones, and they have been, it's amazing how many kids that they've, introduced Hendrix to through that.
Absolutely. We had on this show a few months back, we had the great Nils Lofgren of Bruce Springsteen, E Street Band.
Oh, right, yes.
And yeah. Neil Young's tours with Neil Young quite often. But he recalled the story of opening up for Jimi Hendrix when he was young, when Nils was younger. And he said he was already my idol. And I was so nervous. I was his opening act. He hadn't met me, and I had done a few shows with him and hadn't met him. So like on the last one, it was like 5 shows. He said he whipped up the courage to go to his van or whatever it was in the back and knocked on the door. He said he stood there for a few moments and said, "I'm going to do it." Knocked on the door because he just had to say hello. And he said Hendrix was great to him. Gave him a quick hello and thanks for doing this. And he goes, "It was so nice to not be disappointed."
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Which good.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't wait to get out of school to get home to put that on.
Yeah. What's the best concert you ever seen?
I saw Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, and I saw him in San Diego. And it was at the SeaWorld in San Diego. And this was in the early 80s. It was probably 84, 85, And so Stevie had just come onto the scene, So he wasn't really universally known like he is now. And there was probably, I don't know, maybe 100 people there, So I was right there on top of the stage and watching him, the first 3 songs he played, it was just him ripping on the guitar. He didn't even bother with the lyrics. It was just scuttlebutting and, just grooving.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you look for? Is there, when you see players play certain guitar, are you sometimes distracted by the actual guitar because you're kind of evaluating what are they using? I wonder, maybe I could implement some of that, or did guitar makers do that?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I suppose. But I'm more interested in, the technique and the style that they play more than, because, the guitar, I make Fender style guitars, so it's, a single coil pickup with a bolt-on neck. And other than a paint job, and that's the other thing about being a furniture maker is I believe in the classics. Things were made a certain way, because that's how they work. That's the best way they work, as far as how things should go together and wood's being used. So, flashy stuff doesn't really catch my eye, and I'm actually sometimes disappointed in it, because generally the flash isn't what it seems to be.
Do you know the history? This just hit me on. It was on Stephen Colbert the other night. But when Springsteen was on Colbert, and he's gone through all sorts of painstaking meetings to keep his old Fender intact from like way back. Do you know anything about that story? It's like two guitars in one.
I just know that he's got an old Esquire that he had, and
that's the Born to Run cover with Clarence, right?
Yeah. So he's had that guitar, and I think he's, like any old guitar that gets used like he's used it, it takes certain maintenance to keep it alive and keep it working. So
like what? Let's tell the person who knows nothing about that. What kind of maintenance?
Well, the neck itself, it has wire frets, and the strings generally are actually a harder metal than the fret wire itself. So the more you play it, you're gradually, the strings are acting as an abrasive on the fret wire, so they get wound, ground down. So the way a guitar stays in tune is a fret it's supposed to be round, and the very apex of the fret is where the true note, whatever note it is on the neck, rings from. So as that round gets flattened out, the note isn't true anymore, and the intonation is off. So, the more guitar is played, the flatter those frets get, and that needs to get worked on. And then, guitars are like cars in that guys are always souping them up. There's always another pickup to put in it. There's a different bridge. There's saddles. The piece of metal that the string crosses over where the intonation starts. So I'm sure for the 60 years that he's owned that guitar, he's done all that to it.
Yeah. Do you cringe when you see somebody smash a guitar? That's all fake anyway, right? That rock star stuff.
Well, I think generally, especially today, they have like a stage guitar just set up for that. There's no way somebody's taking a $2,500 Les Paul and putting it through a speaker cabinet, which is a $12,000, or $1,200 piece of equipment also.
Do you have a specialty? Are you making electric and acoustic guitars? Do you have one you just love to make?
Well, I used to be a Strat guy because of Hendrix and Clapton, but now that I've really started building them, I've fell for the Telecaster, which is what Springsteen plays. There's something about the simplicity of just the two pickups. It's just kind of a plank of wood. It's generally one color. There's no flash to it, but it covers such a range of music that it just inspires you to play.
I'm sure it does. How often do you play? Do you get to play do you play your own guitars that you make? Do you ever try somebody else's?
Whenever I get a chance. Actually, there's another kid in town here, Nate Lord, who actually makes guitars also. It's kind of funny. We were kind of wooing the same kid, Cody Nelson, who plays in a couple of bands, but we were kind of wooing the same kid. And I'm not really sure how it happened, but Nate really didn't have a shop and I had a shop. And I believe that all, our boats all float together, so if he does good, I'm doing good. And then if vice versa. So the answer to that question is, yeah, I'd play other guys' guitars. I mean, it's always good to see what's out there, and it validates what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Again, Randy Springis joining us from his basement in Amesbury, where he's got some great guitars. He's a guitar maker. Is there an issue with, I'm just wondering, like getting into the business? I mean, does like Fender ever get ticked off at you for making a guitar? Like, is there like
well, there is. There are the body shapes. From day one, Fender didn't do what they needed to do to copyright or trademark that. So from day one, basically, people were copying the body shapes. Fender has since trademarked their headstocks. The Stratocaster headstock, the Telecaster, and then they have a Starcaster, I think, too. So you can't use those shapes. The bodies you can, but the headstocks you can't. And I came up with my own. you know, it's along the same lines in that it's 6 tuners on a side. It's a straight line pull where a Gibson style neck, you know, there's 3 tuners on each side of the headstock, and the strings go off at an angle as they go up. Where, you know, Fender's is a straight line from the bridge right to the tuner. But you know, being a furniture maker, I took a couple different shapes. You know, it's an ovalo and a really just an S curve that I know the people won't be able to see, but I'm going to show you anyway. You know, so it's an it's an ovalo. It's a half ovalo coming down to this point, and then I have an S curve. But then on top of that, if you look, you know, if you look at just the shape of it, it does kind of look like a mule's head or a horse's head. And I kind of got started making guitars because it's kind of an ode to my grandfather. You know, we used to sit, I can remember growing up as a kid, we'd go down to my grandfather's house and he'd pop a big roasting pan full of popcorn and we'd sit and watch Hee Haw.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, with that, and then he was a farmer, and the mule was, you know, he used the mule as a tool, you know. Yeah. So I kind of threw that ode to him as I was making guitars.
Did he play guitar at all?
No, I don't think he was too musically inclined, to tell you the truth. But just sitting there watching Hee Haw was more than enough to get me interested in that.
That's a very sweet story and a very a sweet memory. It's a beautiful looking guitar, by the way. For some reason, it's very visually appealing, you know, and guitars do have a weight sometimes that way.
Yeah, I think they can be just wall art in themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, they're certainly iconic in you know, Americana. I mean, we wouldn't be the same without rock and roll.
Well said. I think yes, you should have that posted somewhere in your house.
Yeah, right. Right.
What's the, you know, we have a lot of local musicians on this show that are great musicians. Of course, there's such a fine line between, you know, certain steps, but so many of these musicians that come on our show, I think, how are you not bigger? How are you not discovered yet? I wonder, I imagine you get a lot of local artists maybe coming to you. Can I try out your guitar? Is that accurate, or do you kind of get it scattered from all over?
No, I mean, I've got guys all over the country playing them right now, but the core is right here in New England. Mm-hmm. And I personally, getting back to that, boats float together. I mean, I'm here to support any local musician. You know, if you truly, you know, want to play a guitar, I'm going to make it for you, you know, and I'm willing to work with you. And however, you know, I want to work with you, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think Unnamed Colors, I think, was on your show a while back.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, Andrew is an awesome player. I was just with him last weekend. We played together for a little bit.
Oh, lovely.
He's in Amesbury now. So I'm seeing more of him now. He was out on Plum Island. Yeah. But they recently bought a house in Amesbury here. So
great guy and a great couple. I think they got some, if I remember correct, actually they should be close to having a baby, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, correctly. December. Yes.
December. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember that was news when they came on the show, and I said, we have something big to talk about here.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, they just bought a house, and now, you know, I guess it was pregnant and then bought a house, but yeah, big changes for them. But good for them.
One of my favorite acts to have on, because they are a very sweet couple and great to talk to, and obviously a great band as well. Yeah. How in touch do you stay with the music scene? Do you always try to get out and see new artists because you kind of live it?
I try to whenever I can, but you could go out every night and try to see something, you know. So I guess I probably don't get out as much as I can or I could, but I think the word on the street is spreading more. I mean, it's pretty satisfying actually to see how it's kind of flown and grown.
Have you had any names, just like maybe it's a big name, I don't know, out of the blue, that have just come and tried to pick your brain a little bit? So, you know, I've heard some things about you. Have you had like the random phone calls besides mine to get you on this show?
Well, I mean, Ronnie Earl, I've been talking with Ronnie Earl. He wants me to make him a guitar. There's a local kid, Frank Marinero, you know, Frankie Boys and the Blues Express. Mm-hmm. Well, over the summer, he Frank's a player, and Frank's he's a great person. He's just a great person. And he's linked himself up with Luther Guitar Jr. Johnson. And I just made Luther Guitar Jr. Johnson, who's a Grammy winner, a guitar over the summer.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, there are certainly big name players that have expressed interest.
I mean, I already know the answer to this because you take pride in every guitar you make, but is there ever any added pressure, like when somebody comes to you that's, maybe you know that they're going to be very particular about something and you want to make sure you get it right? Do you put like super pressure on yourself to get it right?
I don't think I put any more pressure on myself, no matter who it is, really. I think I have enough, it's not that I'm a perfectionist, but, I want to get it right to begin with.
Yeah.
Because but then again, at the same time, it is a wooden object. So, wood moves, and, the way it sets today may not be tomorrow. But the thing about it is I'm going to be behind you to fix it if there is an issue down the road.
What would you consider it? This is one of those, I mean, you've made a business out of it, but it's also a hobby for you. You would have been doing this anyway. Do you get relaxed by it, or are there moments when you're grinding over a guitar and you stressed out and you just want to be done with it? Is there a little bit of both?
The only time things are the only thing that really, just time frames. I came from a farming family, so, working long hours hasn't really been a problem for me. Actually, my wife gets a little upset sometimes when she has to come down and tell me it's, enough, I guess the big thing really for me is, when you take money from somebody, when there's money involved, it just puts a different aspect to it. I not that I would work any harder or any less, but I mean, once you take money from somebody to make something, you have to produce. You gotta, there's really no excuses after that.
Do you how about guitars in the family? Has it and I'm not sure how big your family is, but do you have relatives that you've kind of played with or forced guitars on, or
family? Yeah. My sister, I've made her a guitar.
Yeah.
And then my brother, I've made a couple of guitars for, and actually he's having me, he just sent me a set of pickups yesterday. So yeah, I'm making a guitar for him too. Actually, I'm making a pair of guitars for him.
So he's the one making you laugh when I asked that question. He's the one making you laugh.
Yeah, right. It's all good though. It's all good.
Awesome, very cool. Well, it's fantastic. I'm glad I got to meet you. It's I got this magazine article from my boss on the phone, and she said she went through the whole thing today, and she goes, "I think you'd like this guy. You guys are both into a lot of the same things." So she happens to be right. Anything you want people to know out there? The kind of poor man guitar player like me that might want to check out your stuff and dabble someday.
Well, like I said earlier, I'm here. I mean, I'm here to support your playing experience, your playing, Fender has they have a stranglehold on the market really. And, for what you can pay for a medium run of the mill Fender guitar, I can do that and make it cheaper. Not only that, but I'm here after the sale. I'm here to support you after the sale.
So you are the local coffee shop for Dunkin' Donuts, is what you're saying then?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Very good. I like that. All right. Well, Randy, we always end the show with a little rapid fire, especially when you're a first-time guest. You got to answer the first thing that comes to mind, and we kind of run through some stuff here, right?
All right, let's go.
Very quick, but we'll start easy. Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite musician? Let's just get right to it.
Hendrix.
All right, that's easy enough. Best concert you ever been to?
Lonnie Mack at the House of Blues back in 1980, or it must have been 92.
All right, very good. Favorite album of all time?
I've always liked Ted Nugent's Stranglehold.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I thought a Hendrix was coming in, but okay. Favorite venue to ever see a show?
Oh, geez. I'm gonna go back to that House of Blues in Cambridge back in the day.
Okay. What's more difficult, farm life or building guitars?
Well, life on the farm for sure.
What's favorites? You're well traveled. What's the favorite city besides, let's say, besides Amesbury?
It's without a doubt Rome.
Really? What do you love about Rome? Little sidebar there.
What I love about Rome is that it's the same it was 2,000 years ago. You walk around any corner, you're going to see every walk of life. You're going to see a cobblestone, you're going to see a column, and you're going to hear different languages. You're going to smell the food in the air. And I'm sure that's the way it was 2,000 years ago. I'm sure that's the way it was 500 years ago. And that's the way it is today.
You're a throwback. I love it. Very good. What's the, we have to eliminate guitars here because I'm going to ask you what your favorite hobby is, but we can't say playing guitars or making guitars. You got to eliminate that. Take me outside of that.
I would say it's cooking.
Cooking?
Yeah.
Did that become, I was going to ask you what your favorite pandemic activity was. Was it cooking?
I did come across some new recipes, yes, but even before the pandemic, I have always been into food and the preparation of it.
What's your favorite dish to make?
Well, actually, I had it tonight, and it was carbonaro.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
good for you. All right. So,
Yeah.
so you really, I get the feeling you do sleep might be an issue for you. Is that accurate?
Well, ever since, at 18, I joined the Marine Corps, and we all know that, you get your sleep when you can, as long as you can. And if you can take 15 minutes here and, 15 minutes and 4 hours, that's what you get. And that's the way I've always been since then.
Your wife is there going, yes, it is an issue.
That's right.
I also wanted to say thank you for your service. I know we're a week past Veterans Day here, but thank you for that. I know, I guess, yeah, we're a full week past. We've had some veterans on,
Well,
and we don't say it enough.
No, but I just say, God bless America. The service was great for me, in the country. How can you, it's the greatest country in the world,
Yeah. What years were you in the Corps?
I was in the Marine Corps from 83 to 92. So I joined right after I got out of high school, and then I got out right after, went over to Desert Storm and got out after Desert Storm.
Okay. Yeah. And did you, oh, okay. Yeah. So those years, yeah. What was the lesson that you most value from your time in the military, you think?
My greatest lesson from the Marine Corps is just, well, there's the JJ did tie buckle, integrity. If you don't have integrity, you got nothing, so that, I guess, is, which really, I learned that from my grandfather, but the Marine Corps just hammered it home that, a guy that doesn't say what he says he's going to do, or integrity, I guess that's it.
And that kind of ties in nicely with the guitar making. That's what you're talking about when you accept money and you feel that.
Exactly. Right.
Good stuff. Well, Randy Springis, give me one more time that website so people I know are going to be interested. So let me send them in the right direction.
It's www.kargeguitars.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook also under both those.
Karge, Karge, just so people get that right. I want to make sure they get that part right. Randy, man, it was a pleasure meeting you. I enjoyed this very much. Thanks for taking some time.
Well, I appreciate it too. This is awesome.
This is fun. We'll do it next time. We'll try to do it. Hopefully we'll be out of this damn pandemic and we can be back in studio and I can meet you in person. But for now, you get to be in my kitchen virtually. There you go. And me in your basement.
There we go. Next time we'll have guitars in our hands too.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. Very good. Show us one more time. Let's end the show. Give us one more little sneak peek of the background there.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, look at those. My goodness.
Yeah. There's a couple bass guitars over here. There's a plaque from my barracks back when I was in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
And that's my Karge guitar sign.
I could spend some serious time down there, I think.
Come on over.
Randy, good to meet you, man.
Yes, same with you, Andrew.
We'll see you again, all right?
All right, you got it.
All right, that was fun. Randy Springis, guitar making extraordinaire right there out of Amesbury. Good stuff. Go check out his website. And yeah, what a good guy. We'll have him on again. He's fun. I feel like he's got interesting stories. I'd love to get him like in studio and kind of do the whole in studio thing, which is a little more natural than, this. Although this is fine. This has been working fine. Good start to the week, everybody. Live at Drew's house. Peace.